In the last section, we spoke about how your project is currently using some default keys, and we probably want to replace those with your own personalized key. So we're going to first start off by creating a new instance of MongoDB and wiring up our application to use that. Now I'm going to show you how to create a MongoDB instance through a third-party service called imlab.com. Imlab provides free copies of MongoDB that you can very easily connect to. If you already have MongoDB installed on your local computer and you know that it's already properly configured, you can absolutely use your own local copy of Mongo. That's totally fine. But I'm going to show you how to use Imlab just because it is much easier to get started with if you have not already set up Mongo on your local machine. To sign up for Imlab, I'm going to flip on over to my browser. I'm going to open up a new browser tab and I'll navigate to imlab.com. Once here, I automatically get kicked to the dashboard because I've already signed up and logged into an account. So if you've never used Imlab before, that's totally fine. You can click the big blue sign up button up here at the top right hand side and sign up for a brand new account. After you do so, you'll want to log in and you should see that dashboard appear on the screen. So this is a list of all the different MongoDB deployments that I'm already running. I'm going to create a brand new deployment to use inside of our application. So on the top right up here, I'm going to find the Create New button. I'll click it and I'll go through this wizard to create a brand new instance of Mongo. Now we should not have to be paying anything for this Mongo instance. It should be 100% free. So on the left-hand side, you'll want to find a plan type that says something like Sandbox, and it should be very clearly labeled as being free. I'll click on that, and then click on Continue on the bottom right. I'll then select a region. The region here doesn't matter too much, and you'll notice there's only two here. So if you're located in somewhere on the planet that is very far from Virginia or Ireland, that's totally fine. Just pick whichever one is closer to you. So for me, it's Virginia. So I'm going to select that one. And then I'll click on Continue. And then finally, I'm told that I have to enter a database name. So for my database name, and I really recommend you use this same name as well, I'm going to enter in blog_dev, like so. I'll then click on Continue and Submit Order. So that's going to create my own personal copy. And you'll want to use your own copy rather than the one that I already wired up to our project, because again, that is a read-only database, just so you can run the project. So after a minute or two, we'll see this new database wizard resolve. And then on this list, I should see the new database that I just created. So here's blog_dev. I'm going to click on that link. And before we can use this thing, we have to do one last step, which is to create a database user. This is an account that is used to actually access the database itself. I'm going to find the Users tab right here. I'll click on it, and then on the bottom right-hand side, I'll find the button that says Add Database User. So I'll click on that button, and I need to create a new username and a password. Now this is a development account, so you don't have to be too crazy with security here, but of course use some reasonable username and password. So I'm just going to use Steven and password, like so. And then I'll click on Create. Once that's done, I can now take the URL or URI that is listed up here towards the top, and this is kind of small text, so let me zoom in. I'm going to take this URL right here, and this is what we need to actually add to that keys file that we were just looking at. So I'm going to select this link right here, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to change back over to my code editor. I'm going to make sure I'm inside of my dev.js file. I'm going to find the Mongo URI string. I'm going to delete the existing one, like so. And then I'll put in the link that I just copied. Now one last thing here. We have to replace the DB user right here and the DB password with the credentials that we just created. So that's going to be the credentials for this user that you just made 2 seconds ago. So I'm going to enter in my username of Steven and my password of password, like so. Cool, so that looks good. If I now change back over to my terminal, I should see a message that says that the server just restarted because I just changed that keys file and saved it. Anytime we change any file inside of our project, the server is going to automatically restart. So now, if we visit our application inside the browser again, we should be connected to our own personal copy of MongoDB. Let's go to the browser right now and test that out. So I'm going to go back over to localhost 3000. I'm going to refresh the page. And then on the top right-hand side, I'm going to click on that Login with Google button. So we should now be able to log in with Google because we have a database that we can actually write to. Anytime we try to sign in with Google, it's going to attempt to create a new user record inside of our database. And before, when we had that read-only database that came with our project, that write action would have failed. So now we've got a copy of the database that we should be able to write to, so we should be able to log in just fine. So I'll click Login with Google. I get asked to select a Google account, so I'm just going to pick some random account here, and then I'll actually get redirected back to my application. Back over here, you should now see the header looks slightly different. So I should see something that says My Blogs and an option to log out. And I should also see a red button down here as well. Cool, so we just signed into our application. Let's pause right now. We'll come back in the next video and we'll continue doing a little walkthrough of this application, and then we'll get started on our first big feature that we're going to add to this app.